Jake and I are here at Panda Studios.
What's up? What's up? What's
Founded
up?
in 2003 by this guy right here, Sam. Thank you for letting us come here and make
absolutely.
noise.
It's nice to hear you guys jam and have
Yeah.
a great time.
Thank you.
So you've worked with a bunch of bands throughout your years, like just to name a few, Story So Far, Basement Hunter. It's just a bunch, right?
Yep.
So obviously you're a busy person. So what is the most recent thing that you've worked on, and what are you currently working on, if you are?
New 100th album, which comes out this Friday. Everyone needs to get it. New Spirit World album, Pagan Rhythms, which I did a little while ago. Features our boy Thomas Pridgeon on drums.
Really like that.
I'm glad you really like it. It's super heavy. And then besides that, working on a new EP with the band called Spice, who's also very cool. And just a few other little side projects and stuff. I'm going to start making some tunes of my own here soon.
Very cool.
And we're doing more heavy Lolo stuff again.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Should be pretty fun.
So let's bring it back a bit. So as a kid, is this what you imagined for yourself? Did you see yourself doing this, owning your own studio and doing what you're doing? Was this your dream job?
I mean, my dream job initially was to be a professional hockey player.
Wow.
And then when, I played highest hockey until I was like 16 years old. It was like the most important thing I did. Like, I would spend summers in Canada and like go to hockey camps and stuff. Like, hockey was my life. And then I like had a falling out with hockey in terms of the fact that I wasn't big enough and I wasn't like bulky enough to like be a solid defenseman. So I was in high school. I really didn't know what I was going to do at that point. So I just leaned heavier into playing guitar and like playing music, and which made me want to make a record with my band. And then once I did that, I was like, I could totally do the recording part of that. And so I found a college that I could go to, and I'd get a sound arts degree, and I'd get my bachelor's there. So I was like, this sounds cool. Like, so I just kind of fell into it because I was a terrible student. I didn't really have much direction, but it was like I was always the guy tinkering with my tone and tinkering with my like drummer's drum set and stuff like that. Like, and I was always like the songwriter and like band leader. So like it makes sense that like I essentially fell into the role of being an executive producer, and on top of that being like an audio engineer and one who like cares about the way things sound at all times. Like at the end of the day, like what I do like with the studio here is like, even though it's a recording studio, I'm actually like an executive creative director for my projects.
So in a fairly recent interview, I think it was just maybe just over a year ago, you said something in the interview that I thought was really interesting, and I just wanted to pick your brain on it. So you said, when asked about your production philosophy, you said, I'm a firm believer in being a recordist.
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit?
So recording is like the art of actually capturing sound and putting sound that goes through the air into a microphone, into gear. That is an art that very few people fully understand. And most of the engineers and or like studios that like, you know, make records today, they actually see that as part of like, it's a very simple thing to them. I have microphone, I put it in front of source, I plug it in, and that's it. There's a whole other art inside of that of like, what microphone, what cable, what preamp, what room, how is the musician in front of that? That entire, like, if you dive into it, there's hundreds, if not fucking thousands of variables that make each single process of recording someone different. And I take tremendous pride and being so detail oriented in the process of actually capturing audio. And that's where my favorite engineers were true recordists. Like, every time they captured audio and printed sound into a tape machine or a Pro Tool system, it was capturing magical things that actually like evoke emotion and like make me want to make records. And so that's why I really care so much about making my records sound so unique and so detailed, and I'm a huge fan of audio production, basically.
So I said earlier, just a few of the many bands that you've worked with over the years of you doing this. Just thinking back on what you've done and all that you've accomplished, what were some of your favorite projects to be a part of?
Lots of the early Story So Far stuff was like really fun to work on. I mean, especially when they were just like a younger unsigned band who was, you know, like as passionate as like, you know, it's like at the end of the day, what we did was we made content that made us feel good and that we actually wanted to show people and we were proud to put out there. And surprise, surprise, people liked it. And so we continued to do that more and more. And then that's like, those projects were very reassuring in terms of the fact that like the only secret to success is like actually truly making things that you care about with the people that you care about. Like, and so any record that I've done that like is a very big collaborative effort between me and the band. Like those are like my favorite records. Like 100th record, the Spirit World record, the Dangerous Summer record. All of those experiences were like very like they felt like really like euphoric and very like important and magical as I was making it. Like I was like, I feel like this is important. I feel like the world's gonna like really respond well to this and like really care about what we're doing. I feel this like tremendous amount of like responsibility to like capture all of this and to put all of this into a cohesive product that is actually going to help change the world. Like I have an opportunity to do it right now, and that's what I want to do. You know.
This next question, I guess we would call it a fan question. I'm not exactly sure where this came from, but someone wanted us to ask you, tell us about your Topo Chico situation, I guess.
Topo Chico.
Is this a sponsorship?
I would say it's more like a partnership. Actually, it's more like a charity on their behalf. I mean, I got in contact with them to try to order some Topo, and through some mutual friends and them understanding who I was and what I was doing here, they decided to start hooking us up with free Topo Chico to serve all of our clients. So at the end of the day, it's like an amazing product that like I just want to sit here all day and work on records. And what's the most important thing is to stay hydrated. And like I have a tendency to like want to drink carbonated drinks in general. So it's like usually like soda or like beer, and I don't want to drink that much beer throughout the day. I don't want to drink soda throughout the day, so I'd rather just drink carbonated water. So that's why I got in touch with Topo. Because I love carbonated water. So like they basically decided that they were like, oh, well, there's enough people coming to the studio that like it would be beneficial to us to give you a fridge and give you supply and like have you supply it for free to your clients so that everyone can enjoy and experience Topo Chico and be able to actually just like sit and make you record. They never like post on social media and like we'll hook you up, like nothing like that. They just hooked me up, and like I love them so much that I'm adamant about helping people, like telling people thank them for the fucking drink that they hooked you up with. Like, let other people know that you fucking love it, because I'm going to guarantee you will. You know what I mean? Like, and like, it's funny how now it's kind of become like almost like this like meme interaction where all my friends like will find it, and like if they're like in Florida and they see it, then they're gonna post it and get one and tag me. And so it's like it's cool that like it's kind of become a thing. And also like how I like coined the whole new like, you know what makes like recording better? Topo Chico makes recording better. Like, you know what makes like building or like painting your house better? Topo Chico makes painting your house better. You know what I mean? Like that's like that should be their motto and all. So.
You should just make the mottos for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Just going back to the things that you've done throughout your career, just with all just the countless bands that you've recorded with over the years, I can almost guarantee, or I'm sure, that you've worked with bands that are first-time recording bands or studio virgins, I suppose. So what would be your advice to bands who are new to the studio or just the recording process in general?
The recording process only gets involved when you, yourself, have songs that you actually want to make great. And so what is required for anyone to understand before they actually enter the studio is that they need to have a tremendous amount of vision and direction of what they're doing. And like to break it down into like a really simple analogy, like if you want me to direct your movie, you need to come in with a script and a storyboard. You know what I mean? You have to have an actual like demo to reference. You have to actually have like sounds and things that you're trying to achieve, you know, shots, lighting, camera, you know what I mean? Like you have to have an entire vision. So like someone like Spirit World, you know, they come in, they're like we're heavy and we want to be like hardcore and metal both combined. Perfect. We're gonna use these guitars, we're gonna use these amps, we're gonna fucking reference these type of things. We're gonna like, what's your riff like? It needs to have like this type of harmony to reference this type of thing. Like it's a very, the only thing that matters is a vision. And without a vision and without an actual concrete idea of what you're trying to do, there's no way that you'll have a good time making anything at a studio. Like, and especially like with me, like if anyone comes in indecisive about their ideas, you're in the wrong place. Like you should be paying money to be here to actually capture and to help maximize the potential of your ideas, as opposed to flip-flop between potential ideas in the spot here. You know what I mean? So that's when like lots of new bands have hard times, is they like don't really know exactly what they're doing, and they think they have it together, and then all of a sudden, once it gets blown up into like pixel level detail on fucking Pro Tools, they're like, oh shit, I feel like embarrassed and vulnerable, and like unfortunately that's all part of the process and how we make it great. You know what I mean? So like in order to like make it better, you have to be willing to feel vulnerable and be willing to like feel defeated. You know what I mean? And like be willing to like go through all the pain and trials and tribulations of understanding exactly what we're doing here and what we're trying to do. You know, like it's not, again, like even though this is a recording studio, like I try to really like reinforce this is not a recording studio. This is a production facility. This is a place where we make music, not record bands. You know?
At what point throughout that preparation stage, or I guess I should say that lack of preparation, do you, for those first bands, or maybe not even just the first band, do you say, you know what, I can't do this, you're gonna have to go somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to like you know, what's your vocal melody? Oh, I don't really know. Like I'm like these are my lyrics though, or like it's basically like coming in with like complete unfinished, like if you don't have the script and the screenplay, you're not gonna, don't come in and be like, yeah, we're ready to shoot, but like I actually haven't written like scene 4, and like even though I have the screenplay for it, like, or I have like the shot list for it, I'm still like working on the lines. It's like, okay, well, like then you need to go home with that. You know what I mean? Like you should not be here spending money to like work on that homework right now. You know what I mean? And also like, you know, just interacting with people and trying to help change their parts to be good, or help them play better, and show them how to play it correctly, and that makes them feel like they're you know, like I'm picking on them or something. You know what I mean? Like so there's a lot of potential for chaos, especially if you come in just not willing, not ready to be prepared, and not like willing to be vulnerable and like, you know, fucking flexible and adaptable to the entire scenario, whatever presents itself.
This next question may actually go hand in hand with that, and you may have already answered it with saying all that, but what are your biggest pet peeves in the studios with bands?
Just the best idea wins. Doesn't matter whose idea it is, best idea wins. And lots of people are very unwilling to collaborate on that, you know what I mean? And also like afraid to admit that someone else's other than their idea is better, you know what I mean? So that's like pet peeve number 1. Number 2 is, like I said, like being indecisive, like not having an actual concrete idea and stepping up and being like, I'm ready to record. That's, you're asking for trouble and a miserable time. But besides that, it's really just like you just have to be willing to, you gotta be really patient too, because like people want to hear it sound perfect immediately, and they don't realize that it takes fucking time. It's like basically like walking in and being like, oh, how come Woody in Toy Story like doesn't have any color and he looks all blocky? It's like, yeah, because we're just like in the keyframe stage of making the movie, dude. We're not coloring it yet. Like relax, like, and like people feel like vulnerable and weird, like well, like I don't really know because I don't see the color on there, so I'm not even sure if this is really gonna work. It's like, trust me, it's gonna work. Like just so like, you know, the pet peeve is really just like people need to just be trusting of each other and of whoever their engineer or producer is, and really be willing to fucking go through pain to make it great. You know what I mean? Like, and pain being whatever emotional like reaction you'll have to the awkwardness that'll clearly be presented at some point in time during the recording process. You know what I mean?
Last question here. So you've accomplished so much since you started this, and it's been truly amazing to study you.
Thanks, man.
So my last question for you is, what is the next step for you, and what is your goal to get there? If you have something that you have in mind.
My biggest thing that I've been trying to do that I like this is my last like dream. This is like the hurrah of what I want to do. I want to start my own record label. I want to release my own music, and I want it to be collaborations with whatever artists I want to do. I don't want to have to ever charge anyone to ever make music with them, and I want the ability to, whatever I make, generate all the income and finances necessary to build this entire thing even further than what it is. So like that really requires me to like now take the new like plunge and dive of like actually setting up time for myself to like make music of my own. You know what I mean? And like collaborate with whoever I feel like collaborating with, as opposed to just being like, all right, well the way that I can like achieve that is by producing and recording your music. Like that's starting to become much more undesirable, and what is more desirable is, well, how about we just make brand new songs together and just make it awesome? You know what I mean? Like, why don't you walk in with nothing and we'll just make an entire brand new thing together? You know what I mean? Like, I'd like to start getting into the routine of that and the rhythm of that, and having that content just be enough that it's going to financially support everyone that's involved, you know? So that's the goal.
Thank you, Sam, for letting us play and letting us interrogate you.
No problem, dude. I'm happy to do it.